Have you been experiencing internal financial struggles triggered by economic concerns? Are you feeling capped at your current income level and can't seem to realize your financial potential? Energy healer Jean Border has created an emotional freedom technique, or EFT, tapping protocol to help calm the inner voice that keeps you stressed. Claim your free copy at jeanborder.com/vow and say goodbye to those financial blockages. Welcome to another episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast, Energy Work to Better Your Business, hosted by energy healer Jean Border. It's not just about dreaming, it's about making those dreams a practical reality. Subscribe to us via your favorite network by visiting our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com. Now, get ready. Your journey to success starts here.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Jean Border, with another episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast, where we talk everything business with a focus on mindset, energy work, psychology behind the decisions we make in our life and our business. I have a special guest with me here today. It's Jalisa Hardy. Hi, Jalisa.
Hi, Jean. I'm so excited to be here.
Cool. Before we get going here, I want to remind the listeners that if you are stressing a bit about money or your economic situation right now, your finances, there's a free PDF in the link below. Just click on that, or jeanborder.com/vow, VOW. It's a tapping protocol. You just tap along as you're saying the words in the protocol. And what that does is these points help calm down your central nervous system so you can make decisions from a place of calm rather than reaction or fear or tension. And I just tapped on the points for you so you could follow along with this as you go if you're not familiar with the points. The instructions are in the PDF also, but some of us are more visual and hopefully it'll help you out. Anyway, jeanborder.com/vow. Let me know how it goes for you. And now back to the show. We are with Jalisa Hardy today. She's got a really interesting journey. Hi, Jalisa. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, yes. And I want to give a disclaimer before anybody, might complain about the background noise. I am a single mom. I have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And when I say mommy's got something to do, stay downstairs, they love to do the complete opposite. So,
cool.
Okay, one of my munchkins come running through the door to introduce himself to the podcast. That was just a little disclaimer. But yes, my name is Jalisa Hardy. I am originally from Buffalo, New York, but currently living in Glen Burnie, Maryland. I like to say that I am the niche. I don't have a niche. I do a lot of different things. I am an energy worker, a human design expert, trauma of money practitioner, an author, a speaker, a publisher, Reiki master, probably some things that I forgot to mention. But my brand is the Golden Child, and I'm also a doula in training, so I'm in the process of becoming a doula. But my brand is the Golden Child, and really where that came from was my conception story, my real origin story of my mom and my dad, in the process of getting a divorce. And during that time, I was conceived. Grown people do grown people things. And I'm here today as a product of that. But during that process of the tumultuous relationship that they had, I was conceived, and she had already had fertility challenge. She had 3 miscarriages before me, and she had never carried a pregnancy full term. She had my sister 3.5 years before me. So this was basically a touch and go situation with my pregnancy. 3 or 4 months in, they told her that I would have Down syndrome. And then 6 to 7 months in, they told her that I would be born without a stomach and that my esophagus and windpipe would be fused together. And in that experience, just listening to it as a person or a mom, you might be devastated because it's like, I've literally gotten this far in my life already having issues with fertility to now hear that my baby is going to have all of these health challenges. But my mom, she said, you know what? Being a woman of faith, she said, I'm believing for a different outcome. I see the test results. I see, the ultrasounds. I see everything that you're saying. Despite what the nurse is telling her, the best option for you would be to get an abortion. She said, because if you are to make it full term with this pregnancy, your baby's going to need multiple surgeries to have any quality of life or any chance at living. And again, she said, you know what? That's not an option for me. And she decided to go to church. She went to a revival, had them pray over her, let them know what was going on. And she said the only thing that she remembers is feeling like she was being lifted off of her feet and that God was pouring gold into her stomach. In that moment, she knew that something was different, but she didn't know until she went back to the doctor and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And that, for me, hearing that really planted a seed of faith that has grown to be so much more, to be able to see things in a different light than what people might say it is, outside of what people's expectations of me are. I can say, you know what? You don't know how it all began. You might have a certain expectation or a certain opinion of who I am or what I do, but God has the final say. So for me, really standing in that and walking in that and now expanding my beliefs and my viewpoints around what faith is, energy work, doing those types of things, getting into human design, it has shifted not only my brand, but my entire being to embody the golden child and also empower other people to know that not only am I the golden child, but you're the golden child as well. So my mission is to really guide people to see and be their most authentic selves, uncover and release limiting beliefs and unleash the golden child within. So that's a little bit about me.
That's so powerful. I can't tell you the number of clients who come to me with stories that they've been told that they think they have to believe. You don't have to believe anything anybody tells you. You get to choose what you believe. It's amazing to me how we're kind of brainwashed into thinking we can't think for ourselves, that we have to believe, well, this doctor said that. Well, yeah, but if you look hard enough, you're going to find a doctor that says something else. Which one do you choose to believe? Right? Just like your body was created to heal. If you give your body the direction, this is what I want. I don't accept what somebody else said. This is what I want. And you give your body direction, it understands. But if it doesn't know what you want, it's going to go with whatever, right? That's amazing to me that your mother was so strong that she said, I don't accept. And then she proved them all wrong. So it is possible, people.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things more recently I've really been working with myself and other people on is uncovering those limiting beliefs. Because a lot of times we're so programmed to just do things out of habit, out of, what's already been done, what we've seen growing up. So we don't even take the time to question, why am I even doing this? Why do I think this way? Why do I do things this way? So really getting to the root of uncovering the different things that they desire to change in their lives to say, oh, that's where that comes from. I had this limiting belief around not being enough, not being worthy, not being capable. All of these things that are subconsciously blocking them from the things that they desire and that they deserve.
And so many times we grow up with sayings that we allow to color our world, right? And when we think about them and we try to actually break them down, sometimes they're not even logical. But we heard it when we were young and we just took it on like that was true. Well, maybe it's just a saying. Maybe it was somebody else's belief. You get to decide. You are powerful. You get to decide. Is this true for me? Because what you believe to be true is true for you. Mm-hmm. Even if it's totally counter to something I believe. It's not true for me, but it is true for you. But you get to decide that. And sometimes we don't realize we have the power to decide.
Yeah, and it reminds me of that quote. I can't remember who said it, but he said, if you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're also right.
True. And that can shift day to day or circumstance to circumstance. It's very interesting the way we make judgments and we hold on to those even without exploring, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just a thought that I held on to? And habits are just thoughts that you've repeated, right? You
Yes.
took action on this thought and then you took it again and you didn't think about it and eventually it just became a habit, right? So deciding if that habit serves or hurts can be very powerful.
Absolutely.
You brought up something that I don't know that the listeners are familiar with, so I would like for you to explain it if you could. And that is, you mentioned something called human design. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Human design is something that I was introduced to probably in 2016. And at the time, I was more so stuck in church and religion, so I wasn't open to it. But at the time, I was on a different journey overall. But recently, I would say, I think it was 2022, I was going through a divorce and my life was completely just upended because I was a stay-at-home mom and a stay-at-home wife with little to no income and in an abusive marriage. And during that time, it was like, it was either my sanity in my life or stay comfortable financially. And I made a decision. I chose my heart in that moment. It was going to be hard to try to figure out what I was going to do financially, but I would be able to heal in a safe environment. My children will be able to heal and learn and grow in a safe environment. And I will be the best version of myself and for my kids. And during that experience, I ended up going to a 7-day, I think it was like a wealthy woman summit or something like that. And one of my coaches that I was following at the time, she was a speaker at the summit. And this woman who was hosting the summit, I just instantly, it was like an instant connection. I was like, oh, I have to, whatever I need to do, I have to connect with her. And she had just recently started to talk about human design in her studies and different things like that. And as I was following her, I was like, I've heard about this before. But it was like at that time, it was exactly what I needed at that time to rediscover myself, to really accelerate my healing process and my healing journey, because human design is so multifaceted. It can really touch and improve every area of your life, but I call it a personality test on steroids because it is literally the blueprint of who your most authentic self. That's why I talk about authenticity and being your most authentic self, because human design really helps you to unpack and uncover those conditionings that you've been raised to believe about yourself so that you can see yourself for your most authentic self and live in that light and live as the golden child. So for me, human design was really the avenue that supported me with my healing journey and seeing myself as a healed version of myself, because I was so broken. I was literally a shell of myself, just trying to piece myself back together on a day-to-day basis so I could survive. So human design took me from surviving to thriving. And now I've gone from thriving to surrender, because I've surrendered and accepted so many different things that I was resentful about. I had unforgiveness in my heart about. I, just wanted other people to experience the pain that I experienced that they put me through. So for me, now being in the space of openness, acceptance, and surrender, human design has opened up my eyes, my ears, and my heart to so many different things and connected me with so many amazing people that they've been able to impact my life and I've been able to impact theirs. So human design is literally a modality that can change your life if you allow it to.
Give me some points or some things that when you were introduced to it stuck out for you. What really drew you to it?
It was this idea that, okay, you hear all the time, we're all unique. We have unique fingerprints, unique DNA, unique. It literally expands upon that to the point where it's based off of your date of birth, your time of birth, and location of birth. So nobody else has your human design chart. Nobody else in the entire world. So it's just like your fingerprint, just like your your DNA. So human design literally helps you to see the different aspects of your personality, different aspects of your purpose, different aspects of even down to your digestion. That for me as a holistic health practitioner, I'm like, ooh, I like that. Like all these different aspects of who we are that you don't normally understand. It gives you this blueprint to say, okay, I'm, for example, some people say I'm, what do they call it? I say multifaceted. Other people say she's like all over the place. But that human design gave me permission to stand in my multifaceted ways, being able to multitask, being able to move with a lot of energy and motivation and doing different things. Whereas other people, other designs that, just being able to see in my world of their different energy types. So there are 5 energy types. There's the manifesting generator, the manifester, the generator, the projector, and the reflector. And it's manifesting generators and generators make up 70% of the population. So majority of the people that you'll meet or come across will be manifesting generators and generators. 20% of the population will be projectors, 8% will be manifestors, and 1 to 2% will be reflectors. So this, for me, understanding that and kind of seeing understanding the different personality, quote unquote, personality types, which in human design are called the energy types. I kind of see how people's energy interacts with each other. So for example, my kids, I have a manifestor. My daughter's a manifestor. My oldest son is a generator, and my youngest son is a manifesting generator. Together in one room, it's chaos.
Tell us a little bit about what each of those mean.
Yes. So manifesting generators are a hybrid energy type. So it's the hybrid of the manifestor and the hybrid of the generator. I call it a unique energy type because it's the only hybrid. Even though we make up 35% of the population, it's the only hybrid energy type. And manifesting generators are known to have lots of energy. Like their aura is big and bright and bubbly. Like you can literally feel their energy when they walk in the room. They're the ones that are normally like the life of the party. They literally bring the party with them when they come into the room. Generators, they have a similar makeup, but again, because manifesting generators are a hybrid of generators and manifesting generators, they have some additional aspects of their personality. Generators are more so the worker bees. They're the ones that are like, head down, I'm just going to focus. I'm going to get my work done. I'm going to get this thing done. Like they can literally say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. They can focus and get it done because they have the capacity and the energy to do it. Their aura, they have a wide open aura, but it's more so a toned down sort of like kind of behind the scenes. Like you'll feel their energy, but it's like they're kind of low key with it. For the projectors, these are the ones that they don't necessarily have an energy center or like they don't produce their own energy. So for them, naps and nourishing food are what provides them with the energy that they need. They're the ones that can only do like 2 to 3 hours max of like grinding head down work because they don't have the energy or the capacity to do it. They're the ones that are the leaders. They're the guys that can tell you what to do, show you what to do. And they're like, okay, you take it, you do it because I don't have the energy to do it. Manifestors, these are the initiators. These are the only energy types that can initiate something without having to wait or without having to have someone else to guide them or show them how to do something or what to do. They're the ones that the phrase from Nike, just do it. Those are the ones that can just do it. They can cold call. They can, reach out and initiate contact with people. They can just, if they have the urge to do something, they can just go ahead and do it. And these are the ones that are usually the The ones normally like the CEOs, the ones that are dictating and mandating things, because they again have the urges and surges of energy, and then they have plateaus. So for them, it's like they can delegate it, but they're not going to see it to completion. So if you have a manifestor in your life and you're like, why don't you ever finish anything? That is by design. It's by design. I was married to one, and I'm like, now understand. I'm like, oh, that's why you would always leave things unfinished. I get it now. So for me, understanding this now, like I said, my daughter's a manifestor, and she's the one. She'll like, mommy, come on, let's do this workout. I'll work out with you. And halfway through, she's like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And then there are the reflectors. They are very, very rare because they're only 1 to 2% of the population. And unless you really know human design, or you know that specific person's human design, you probably won't know that they're even a reflector, because they're known as the chameleons. They can literally like just fit in wherever they are, whatever environment, whatever energy type they're around. They can literally mimic that other energy type to make it seem like they're a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, or a manifester. And it's like, but their vision and their ability to see the world is unlike any other. So each energy type has their role in the world for the things that they're designed to do, and it all fits together. Human design is literally like, I say, an energetic puzzle for the world, because even in interacting with other energy types, they have, certain qualities of one energy type. When you come in contact with another energy type, your energy balances each other, or you feed off of each other. Or if you have a certain aspect, like for example, if your throat center is undefined and another person's throat center is defined, that interaction, you're going to be able to balance each other out to say, oh, okay, now I can speak up about this because I'm around this person that has this defined throat center. So it's amazing. It goes so wide and so deep, but that me being a researcher and just the type of person that loves to learn certain things and having so much love for people and wanting to understand people and really understand myself, because at the time it was like I was so lost and confused. Human design gave me that ability to see myself in a way that I had never seen myself before, and put those pieces back together to say there was never anything wrong with me. The way that I do things, the way that I am, the way that I think, there was never anything wrong with me. I allowed my situation and the marriage to break me down to believe that I was nothing, that I was unworthy, that I didn't deserve anything. And human design helped me to rebuild that back up and rebuild myself back up to believe that that I am worthy, that I am valuable just as I am.
Interesting stuff. I was going to ask a question that I think I'll save for later. Talk to me about your business journey. How did you get from where you started to where you are now? Because you've got such a varied background, right?
Yes.
Well, these different certifications, these different interests, right? And a lot of us are that way. Once we get in, at least in my experience, once we get into the energy world, it opens up so many new avenues.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get interested in ABC, and then we find this thing XYZ over here. Oh my gosh, that fits so well. Why didn't I know about that? And there's something about that we need. And then there's RST over here. And that's so, we just get pulled in different directions. Talk to me about your journey.
Yes. For me, I've always known I was going to be an entrepreneur. I started my first business in middle school, where I would go and get the candy in bulk and upsell it for however much my profit margin I wanted it to be. And I would go home as a little middle schooler with $60 to $80 a day from selling candy.
Oh my goodness.
Because I have this bubbly, energetic personality, so people are drawn to me. They're like, "Ooh, she's got candy. This is the stuff that the vending machines don't have." So I was very strategic with it because I'm like, okay, let me see what the vending machine has. Let me make sure I don't duplicate what they have. I bring some different things and get it in bulk and upsell it. And that's what I was doing until the school caught wind of me
Uh-oh.
taking away from their vending machine profit and shut my business down.
Uh-oh. What? You can't create a profit on school grounds? How dare they?
So I knew from then that I was destined to be an entrepreneur. It took me a while after that, that business debacle to get back to it. I started my next business at the age of 18 when I got into network marketing with the health and wellness company. And that was really my first introduction to holistic health as it was during that time. I was 18, I was in college and on the college campus studying to be a pharmacist, which was never really what I was supposed to be doing. But, following the money. And that for me was a lot of my journey with business. I was following the money because I had grown up in poverty, grown up with the struggle, grown up with, seeing my parents struggle financially. And I said, you know what? That's not going to be me.
Well,
I'm not going to work until I'm, blue in the face, killing myself for somebody else. I'm going to do it for myself, do it on my own terms, make my own plans, make my own moves. And that for me was entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship came with that freedom and flexibility that I needed as a manifesting generator that I didn't know. Of course, at the time, I wanted that freedom. I wanted that flexibility to be able to pivot and move and do the things that felt aligned in the moment. To be able to say, okay, well, that doesn't feel aligned anymore. So I'm going to go over here and do this. Or, maybe, I want to study something different, or I want to study two things at the same time. Like having that flexibility to move and flow is what entrepreneurship gave. And just exploring the different avenues, being able to say, you know what, I can pivot now. I'm I'm okay with pivoting, or getting to know different people, following different mentors and business coaches, and reading different books. It was really a journey of continued self-discovery and just discovering the things that lit me up, the things that were aligned for me in that moment, and not getting stuck to the temporality of everything. Like literally everything is temporary. It's like there are seasons and reasons for the things that you come across. So for me, not getting stuck too long in things that were no longer aligned, it was easy for me to say, okay, this isn't it anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next thing. And even understanding that sometimes we do move too fast, move prematurely and give up on things, because for me, it was like, I did still have that perfectionism, because it's like, okay, if I'm putting my effort, putting my energy into something to launch something and don't get the outcomes, it was like, all right, what's next? Instead of going back to evaluate, okay, what worked, what didn't work? How can I do something different this next launch to improve, to get it in front of more people, to do a partnership or a collaboration with someone to really get the word out about what I'm doing versus scrapping the whole thing. And that's what I was good for. It was like people telling me, oh, you're so good at this, and hearing that and putting it out there and then not getting the response that I thought I would get. It was like, oh, well, you were wrong. You were wrong. Now come full circle, and literally all of the things that I picked up along the way, financial coaching, health coaching, self-publishing coaching, now that being a part of my business in one aspect or another, every single part of our journey has a purpose if we allow it to. If we just scrap it and think of it as nothing, I tell people all the time, you are a masterpiece. Your life is a masterpiece. And all of the different aspects of who you are and what you've done along the way is a part of that masterpiece. And sometimes masterpieces require mess. So even the mess of life makes up a part of your masterpiece. So don't think that any part of your life is in vain. So for me, that's really what it's been in my entrepreneurship journey, continuing to pick up the pieces and try again, continuing to explore and learn myself as well as the people around me to say, okay, this is what I can offer the world. This is what I can offer to other people. This is how I can support and serve other people as I'm learning, as I'm growing, as I'm exploring, and still be able to live the life that I desire of flexibility and freedom without being tied down, without feeling like, oh, I have to stick to this thing because, people may know me for this, or people may say, oh, this is what you're the best at. No, for me, it's about enjoying the journey of entrepreneurship, of of the journey of life and learning myself, because it's all connected. It's not like we think the journey, our business is separate from our life or our being. No, it's all connected. So understanding that it's all connected and flowing in it on a day-to-day basis. Like, yes, I'm a mom, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm also an energy healer. I'm also a being, an individual, and a part of a collective. So it's all these things, and realizing that my journey in entrepreneurship it hasn't just been this one experience or one pivotal moment. It's been a collection of my journey, and really embracing all the pieces of it to say today, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be.
When you go into business for yourself, there's so many things you have to learn. So you end up taking all these classes, and some of them you're like, why am I even here? I've heard all this stuff before. And so for me, it became important to pick up at least one piece of good information from every class I took that could help become a supporting beam for my business, right? There was a reason why I just chose to spend 3 days in that class, whatever it was. So I just had to pay attention to find that one thing that I was supposed to get out of the class. And you mentioned something else. You're all these different things, because a lot of us, some people are very focused and they only want one specific target to work with. That's not me. I know myself enough to know that I have a low threshold of boredom. That's the way I explain it. Okay.
Yes. You just gave words to something that yes, that's it.
So I don't want to work just with one type of person. Yes, you can go deep. And yes, some of my clients have been with me for years because there's so many things to work on, because I'm an energy worker, right? There's so many aspects to our being that energy can address. Your personal life, your business life, your spiritual world, your kids, your pets. I mean, your real estate dealings. So my business morphs as my clientele decides, oh, you helped me with this, I'm going to tell my friends. And those friends who had that interest come to me, right? So I have to have a varied background to be able to serve a varied clientele. And I enjoy that. I don't want the same experience day after day after day, because it doesn't juice me. It doesn't energize me, right? So I work with people with health issues, like the health and wellness thing. If you look at my company, that's how it's sort of classified, as a health and wellness type deal. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I work with a lot of small business owners. So it's business coaching and energy balancing, right? And I work with real estate investors who are trying to flip their houses faster, or trying to up their occupancy rates for Airbnb type short-term rental things. I do all these things, but I use the same techniques, and it's the same skill set, and it's the same intuition required for all of it. So yes, I'm using the same skill set. I'm ABC all the way down, right? But it's for different people in different situations wanting different outcomes. Very interesting stuff.
Yes, and that was another thing. Now that you just mentioned that human design really gifted me the reminder that I have the answers. Like, I don't have to give my power to anyone else. I literally have the answers.
Big time. Personal power, don't give it away. Personal power, that's all over my website. Take back your personal power to lead, to grow, to live your best life, right? To heal. You have the ability to heal.
And ironically,
Take it on and not give it away to some institution who says, oh, I know better than you. No, you don't know better than me. You know, in a general sense, what the norm, what your little graph says falls within the norm. Maybe I'm an outlier. So you're totally ignoring anything that would benefit me because it's not in your protocols. Energy workers, we have no norms. It's all outliers.
there's no such thing as the norm. We're all unique. Like,
Yes.
to say that something is normal or not normal, it doesn't make sense. We're all unique beings. Like, there's nothing, like, we're all unique. There's nothing, there's no norm. There's really no norm.
When I was younger, my catchphrase was, why be normal?
I love it.
You know, I mean, normal is so boring. I'm sorry. But if you're just going to do what everybody else does, think what everybody else thinks, do what everybody else tells you to do, well, how is there any excitement in your life? You get to choose. You get to decide. You get to create your own pathway. You get to create your own business that fits what excites you, what juices you. And don't listen to other people because they don't know you. They know their truth. They don't know yours.
Absolutely. Nobody can live your truth and be your truth but you.
Yeah.
And ironically, before I lost myself in my marriage, the title of my first book that I self-published a few months before I got married was It's All in Me, My Journey to Freedom and Living Abundantly. It's like I had the key, I had the answer. Like, literally, the freedom framework in the book is what supported me and guided me out of that situation. Because had I not had that, I probably would have still been in it, stuck in trying to figure things out for the kids. I didn't want to, I didn't want to raise my kids in a broken home. And that, for me, even understanding, getting still and using my intuitive guide to say, you know what? A broken home is anyone, whether 1, 2, or 3 people. If there are broken people in the home is going to be broken. So for me, it was about getting out of that situation, being able to heal and become a whole version of myself so that my kids wouldn't grow up in a broken home.
Well, it comes down to two. Also, what do you want to teach your kids? Do you want to teach them that they have the power to choose, or do you want to teach them that somebody else gets to control their world and that's the life they've walked into and they're stuck with it?
Yeah, and definitely the latter, because I learned the first way from my mom. She literally stayed for 38 years trying to make it work for the kids. And for me, being in therapy and now doing the energetic work that I do, uncovering some of those limiting beliefs that came from my mom's experiences and my mom's stories, it was like, wow, like, I don't want that for my kids. I don't want my kids to be in therapy years from now trying to heal from the things that they saw mommy go through, that they saw mommy put up with. So for me, that was a big part of it. Because I again, had it just been him and I probably would have stayed and stuck it out. Because I'm like, I'm a big girl. I can handle it. I'll be okay. I've been through worse. But seeing the impact that it was having on my kids, it was like, you know what? I got to break this cycle. I got to do something different so my kids can see something different and know that there's a better way of life.
And so you made a choice and you made a decision and you took action, which is huge. And sometimes that's so hard to do, especially if somebody else is telling you you're wrong or you're stupid or you don't know what you're doing or you'll never make it without me. I'm this and you're less, right?
Those exact phrases. And my kids at the time were 2, 1, and 1 month old. And when I gave birth to my youngest, I named him Akai, and it means complete. And before I even gave birth to him, God said to me, he said, you're going to go through a rebirth as well. And when I gave birth to him, I could feel the shift in my energy, and I knew things would be different. And a month later, things were different. Very, very different.
Something else that I like to mention to people who are struggling, make a decision today. It's not a decision you have to live with the rest of your life, because you can always make a different decision once you have more information or you're in a different circumstance, but make a choice. Don't just go along, because the longer you go along, the harder it might be to find yourself and find your voice and make the choice that you knew you should have made already. And there's nothing wrong with the timing. Whatever timing is right for you is right for you. And everybody's different. There is no one right answer. If you choose to stay, that's fine, but make the choice, because there's power in making the choice rather than just going along and being pulled and whatever he or she or the circumstances are, that's just how my life is. Not true. If you don't make a choice, that is a choice.
That's what I was gonna say. I heard that a while ago, and they were like, that's exactly what they said. Not making a decision is still making a decision.
But you have to be aware of it, because otherwise we just float along and we're 2 years down the road and we don't know where our life went. What one small step can you take today that will make you happy in a year or two? You have to start the journey. Sometimes that's so hard to do, is just start the journey. And yes, it starts with becoming aware of what you're not happy with in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your financial situation, whatever it is. Where are you now, and where do you want to be? And then take one step towards where you want to be, or who you want to be, or who you want to be with, or what situation you want to be in. And if you take just one little step every day, within a year, you're going to be in such a different place, because rather than just getting, tossed about by the waves, yes, you're still tossed, but you're heading in this direction because you see that lighthouse over there and you're going to head for that lighthouse.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that has literally changed my life. Just focusing on the present and focusing on the one small shift or change that you can make versus trying to do a complete overhaul of everything that you are and everything about your life. It's like, okay, what can I focus on in this present moment that is going to get me to where I desire to be? That is going to get me out of the situation or circumstance or relationship that I'm in that I don't want to be in. Whether it's a mindset shift, an energetic shift, a financial shift, a business shift, like the small things do add up. But we often get so focused on the bigger picture, the bigger goal, the bigger vision. It's like you can get overwhelmed. But when you can get present and focus on, okay, what's the next right thing for me? Not the next right thing that other people are telling me to do. What's the next right thing for me that feels aligned for me to do in this moment?
And I'm going to mention something because it's been in my head the whole time we've been talking almost. And that is, if you get quiet and listen, a lot of times there's this still small voice in your head that will give you some clarity or help you understand what direction might be next for you. And the more you listen to that still small voice, the more often you'll hear it. And the more you pay attention and begin to trust it, the more easily it will come to you. I call that, once you've gone through that path, I call that listening to your intuition, listening to your higher power, paying attention to God, whatever your belief system is. But there is a still small voice somewhere within you wanting to be heard. Are you paying attention is the question.
Yeah, and human design, that's another thing I love about human design. It talks about your authority. And that still small voice could be your gut intuition for manifesting generators and generators. For projectors, it could be your spleen. So there are different aspects of, who you are, your makeup that helps you make decisions when it comes to understanding your human design. So it's like, again, it's all going back to that higher power, that intuition, that inner guide, and knowing how it shows up in your life, how it gives you those answers, what it looks like, what it feels like, and how, to move forward and take actions off of those things, off of that inner guide and intuition and inner voice. So yeah, as you were talking about that, it just reminded me of the splenic authority of projectors, because that's what they call it. Now, the splenic authority, that quiet, still, small voice is going to speak quickly. So you got to pay attention as a projector, because if you miss it, it's not going to repeat itself.
This conversation didn't go anywhere where I thought it would go, but it was interesting. I always have the most interesting conversation with people. It's amazing to me what comes out in these conversations, because I never really know, you know? But if people want to learn more about you, where can they find you?
Yes. The most prominent place I am right now is YouTube at Jalisa the Golden Child. I have all of my events outside of my meetup groups are streamed to my YouTube. I have a series called Freedom Fridays, where I talk about the theme for the month. Storytime Saturdays, where you're hear a little bit more of the stories of behind the scenes of what has gone on in my life. I'll be talking about my experience with my divorce this week. And then more recently, as of this week, I got the intuitive hit to do Wealth Wednesdays, where I'll be sharing about the different streams of income that I'm building up in my business and how other people can do the same. So I have a lot of different things going on YouTube. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but it's not aligned for me in this season. So LinkedIn, Minister Jalisa Hardy on LinkedIn. And those are the two main places. And then my website, jalisahardy.com, where I have my blog. All of my events are there. If you join my email list, you'll be able to get your free human design chart. I have some human design reports on there, some for your kids, some for your health. And all of my freebies, whether it's about self-publishing, all of that you can find on my website.
And do you also teach people how to make money off candy bars? That was pretty cute. Teach your kids how to make money. All they have to do is upsell candy at school and not get caught.
Exactly. Don't get caught.
Well, they could do it right after school, be the friendly neighborhood candy dealer or something.
Yes, make sure you do it on the bus, at the bus stop, before school, after school, those, not on school grounds, okay?
That's funny. So we're going out of time here. I want to thank you for spending time with me. Before we go, do you happen to have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Yes, you are the answer to your prayers. The things that you're looking for, the things that you're seeking out, you are the answer. The purpose that you're looking for, it's you. A lot of times people tell you, you got to find your purpose. You got to discover your purpose. No, when you can sit with yourself and understand yourself, you are your purpose. There's only one you in the entire world. And the world needs you because there's only one you. There are unique gifts, talents, abilities, experiences that only you have, and only you can share it with the world. And remember that you are valuable and worthy just as you are. So don't let anyone or anything tell you any different. And just remember, if nobody told you today, I love you, I see you, and I'm so proud of you.
And we're going to leave it right there. Thank you, Jalisa. I really enjoyed our time together.
Me too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And to the listeners out there, I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I know you have a choice of where to spend your time, and you get to decide, going back to those words, where you want to place your interest and your focus. And I'm very grateful that you decided to spend those minutes and maybe hours with me and my guests. This is your host, Jean Border, with the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey. Until next time.
We trust you enjoyed this episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast, Energy Work to Better Your Business, hosted by energy healer Jean Border. Remember to visit our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Focused Practical Dreamers Journey.